Hello, dear friend. Welcome to Healing Pages channel, the safe haven where every page you turn brings you gently back to yourself. There are days when we walk through life like breathing machines, smiling politely, nodding mechanically, but deep down, there's a silence, a coldness, a strange emptiness, as if the river within has stopped flowing. Emotions, once the warm flame of our inner being, gradually become a luxury, buried under the expectations, the shoulds and shouldn'ts that life imposes on us. So many of us have learned to stay silent when we want to scream, to smile when we long to cry, to suppress the anger, the fear, even the jealousy, without realizing that emotions never truly disappear. They simply wait, gathering force, and one day, when we least expect it, they erupt. Emotions are moving energy. They are born to be heard, to be understood, to be lived in their raw, unfiltered nature. And it is exactly here that the book Emotional Wellness by Osho arrives. Not as a manual, not as a soothing lullaby, but as a mirror, a bold, honest mirror that reflects everything you've been hiding inside, even the parts you never dared to face. This book doesn't comfort you with positivity quotes. It doesn't give you 10 steps to emotional control. What Osho offers is something far more radical. He tells you the truth, that repressing emotions is a form of slow self-poisoning, that what you hide away is exactly what ends up controlling your life. Together, let us step into a journey of emotional awareness, understanding, and transformation, not to become perfect, not to master everything, but simply to return home to our most authentic self. The name Osho, once spoken, tends to stir something deep. He is not a professor lecturing from a podium, nor a monk preaching from detachment. Osho is a force of nature, unconventional, unapologetic, sometimes controversial, but never ignorable. Born in India, once a professor of philosophy, Osho left academia to embark on a spiritual journey that would challenge every norm. He doesn't promise heaven, nor does he demand belief. Instead, he invites you to look within, to explore the space where freedom, meditation, and love are waiting to be awakened. To some, he is a prophet, to others, a heretic, but to millions of readers around the world, he is simply the one who finally said what they had always felt but never dared to voice. That's why Osho isn't just read, he is experienced, and emotional wellness is one of his most intimate offerings. This is not a book that teaches you how to control your anger in 5 easy steps. It's not about suppression. Osho doesn't offer solutions. He offers truth, raw, uncomfortable, but liberating truth, that your emotions are not enemies to be tamed, but sacred energies to be acknowledged. He says we've traded sensitivity for intellectual maturity, that every time we hold back a tear, we're not avoiding emotion, we're avoiding life itself. Emotional wellness is a gentle yet powerful reminder, the heart doesn't need to be managed. It needs to be understood, embraced, and witnessed through the lens of awareness. So what are emotions? Early in the book, Osho shares a poetic yet piercing definition of emotions. He says, emotions are energy in motion. They are meant to move, to flow, to be felt and released like a passing breeze or a fleeting cloud. But the paradox is that we've all learned to trap them, to push them down, to ignore their presence as if they were shameful things. According to Osho, every time you suppress sadness, every time you swallow your anger, you are closing the door to your own freedom. We believe we are controlling our emotions, but in reality, we are abandoning a very real, very beautiful part of ourselves. Emotions are not enemies. They are natural rivers flowing through the body, flowers blooming in the garden of the soul, and when we observe them gently, non-judgmentally, they soften, they stop hijacking us, they start guiding us. We don't need to eliminate negative emotions. We need to understand that they exist to reveal something that needs healing. Anger could be unspoken pain. Fear could be an old wound still asking to be seen. And once we have the courage to sit with these feelings, not run, not fight, then they start to transform. Here is the danger of repressing emotions. Most of us grew up hearing phrases like, "Don't get angry," "Big kids don't cry," "Stay calm," "Don't show your weakness." These seemingly innocent messages turned us into emotional vaults, locked tight, neatly packaged, and quietly suffering. Osho calls this a disease of modern humanity, emotional repression in the name of being civilized. Society rewards it, but the soul suffers deeply, because when emotions are pushed down, they don't disappear, they turn inward, causing chaos, mood swings, sleepless nights, unexplained anxiety, even depression. When reason dominates the heart, we think we're strong, but what we're really doing is hiding. We stop crying in public. We stop expressing anger to avoid judgment. We stop loving fully to avoid heartbreak. And that, Osho says, is the tragedy of our times. We live without really feeling. And the real danger? Repressed emotions don't stay quiet. They return, not as whispers, but as storms. Like trying to hold back a tidal wave. The more you resist, the stronger it strikes. And when it does, you lose control. You become the storm. That's why Osho insists, emotions must not be judged or silenced. They must be witnessed, held, and ultimately, released. Let's transform emotions into creative energy. Here lies the magic of Osho's teaching. He doesn't ask you to eliminate fear, anger, or jealousy. He doesn't preach endless positivity. Instead, he shows you how these so-called dark emotions can become your greatest fuel, if you meet them with awareness. Fear is not an enemy. It's a signal, a sign that you're about to grow. If you stop running and start breathing into it, fear becomes fire, the fire of courage. Anger, if denied, is poison, but when transformed, it becomes a fierce power that fights for truth, justice, and authenticity. Osho says, don't fight anger, dance with it, move with it, and it becomes something wild and beautiful. Jealousy, too, is a misunderstood teacher. It often points to deep insecurity, but when seen clearly, it can be redirected into admiration, into inspiration, into self-growth and mature love. In Osho's world, emotions are never labeled good or bad. They are raw, sacred energies, and with the light of presence, even the darkest feelings become doorways to healing. Become the witness, not the victim. One of the most profound messages in Osho's work is this: you don't need to control your emotions, you only need to watch them. Imagine you're in the middle of rage, heart pounding, mind spinning. Osho invites you not to suppress or explode, but to step back, not to escape, but to observe, as if you were standing at the edge of the storm, watching it pass through. He says, as long as you react, you are a puppet of the mind, but when you observe, you rise above it. To witness is not to be cold, it is to feel fully, while staying centered. You still feel pain, but it doesn't destroy you. You still feel fear, but it doesn't control you. You still feel anger, but you're aware of it, and you respond, not react. This is what Osho calls the art of awareness. The more you observe, the more you soften. Slowly, you become free, not from emotions, but from being ruled by them. They pass like clouds, and your inner sky remains clear. Reading Osho is not about discovering a new truth. It's about remembering something you always knew. Deep down, his words peel off the mental layers we've worn for too long. They don't demand you to become someone else. They simply invite you to return to yourself. Emotional wellness doesn't offer tips. It opens a door. It leads you gently back to the most tender, raw, and honest parts of you. Your anger, your fear, your tears. And once you meet them with compassion, everything begins to shift. Osho doesn't teach escape, nor does he encourage indulgence. What he teaches is presence, the power of awareness, because only when you see your emotions clearly, with love, do they start to dissolve, and behind them, you'll find clarity, stillness, and freedom. At its core, This book is not just about feelings. It's about your soul, your aliveness, your freedom to be human, in all its chaos and grace. So if you're looking for a path to healing, to understand yourself more deeply, to reconnect with the wholeness of who you are, then maybe, just maybe, this book is your invitation. Take your time, turn the pages slowly, breathe, feel. And if this video touched something in you, don't forget to like, comment, or share it with someone else who may be seeking the same stillness. Please hit subscribe to stay connected, as we continue exploring books that heal, deepen, and awaken. Until next time, remember, you are worthy of a life where every emotion has a place to belong.